I was online a couple of years ago at like around 1 a.m. and looking up old Spongebob episodes, as I am a very huge fan as a kid, and the new episodes they show on TV are complete shit. After going through bad quality videos of foreign websites and other sites flooded with ads, I came upon an unofficial website that had full episodes for free. Ads for free. Okay, the quality wasn't great, but better than most of the websites. On the bottom of the link that said SpongeBob Lost Episode. Being the idiot I am, I click on it. I thought it was probably a screamer or anything, but I click it anyway. I was bored enough to click on the video and watch it. I forgot about looking for old episodes. The episode had poor quality, and the episode itself wasn't pretty much forgotten by the writers. Like every episode, it started with the theme song, the tie card reading Patrick's legs, with the normal fun-filled bubble letters we all know and loved. The first thing that doesn't seem right, after the tie card transition, instead of bubbles, it was just a blur into the beginning of the episode. It started like a harmless SpongeBob episode, with SpongeBob and Patrick walking in the sunset, but then Patrick decides to go sandboarding, so they do. It's so far a pretty normal episode. Patrick then tries to do some sort of trick on his sandboard but fails. As a result, Patrick falls and breaks his leg, and SpongeBob goes after him to see if he's okay. During this scene, instead of the usual Hawaiian themed music, more suspenseful, serious music play. Also, Patrick screams a more painful scream than he usually would. Everything that I could feel it. Well, I guess that makes sense. He just broke his freaking leg. Nothing too far to the ordinary, right? Well, other than the opening, the music as one scene, it was pretty much like an ordinary episode. The next scene takes place at the hospital when doctors tell Patrick that he needs to be in a wheelchair for a little while. As they walk out, SpongeBob pushes Patrick into his wheelchair, and when they run into some girls, then the girls start talking to Patrick because of his leg and asked if they could sign his contacts as they walk away with Patrick, leaving SpongeBob by himself. So far, it looked like a normal episode. I don't remember what happened throughout the episode, so I'll skip some scenes. This is where it gets creepy. Later that night, SpongeBob knocked on Patrick's door. In this scene, the backgrounds look more realistic than usual. However, I tried to ignore it. When Patrick opened the door, SpongeBob tells Patrick that he forbids him from ever seeing those girls ever again. Patrick gets furious, not like he does normally. This is more realistic anger. He tells SpongeBob that he hates him. The girls leave in fear. This is when I feel funny about this episode. SpongeBob screams in the usual deep voice, something like, "Oh yeah? As long as you hate me, I can do this." And then he starts beating Patrick's broken leg violently with a rock. After that, the screen goes to static for a fraction of a second. Then it cuts to a scene where SpongeBob and Patrick are apologizing for something during the daytime, except the lining of the animation and the voice didn't mashed up. The animation of this scene was very poor, as it was a loop, and it goes for a good 4 or 5 minutes. I was pretty creeped out, but I wanted to see how it ended. The screen goes to black for a minute or two, and then it cuts to a scene from another episode, where Patrick in the jelly squatters, where Patrick has Jeffrey Jellyfish in the wagon saying, "Come on, Jeffrey." and then the screen goes to black again. This time for about 30 seconds. It cuts to a CGI animation where Patrick cutting SpongeBob's stomach open with a piece of broken coral with realistic blood splashing out. While I looking at the screen with bloodshot, detailed eyes. His mouth didn't move, but you could clearly hear him screaming, "I knew this day would come." Also, with an echoey voice. You can also hear SpongeBob's laughing for some reason. The scene goes for another 30 minutes. Then nothing was heard but static, which gets louder and louder until it's unbearably loud. Then the normal credits come in, but a very fading image of the last scene still showing. My God, that image will be burning in my mind forever. The entitled Plankton logo didn't show like usual. After the episode was over, I froze, so I had to reload the page, but it wasn't available. I couldn't even find the website anymore. Even when I looked up Patrick's legs, nothing came up. I understand if you don't believe me, but I know what I saw. Even it was at 11 o'clock in the morning. What the hell was I even doing online at that time?